Welcome back, blade fans. We have a new one for you today. Just in hot off the mail trail from White Mountain Knives. And here we have the Patriot, which is a Viking Tactics design. Get rid of some junk on the screen there. It is made by Hogue. It is a 20 CV knife and very much about the same size as your Hogue Deka. Going to show you that for some comparison soon. So it is not a big knife. It is on the small side of medium at 3 1/4 inches. And here's a little information on it from the box. And this was designed by Special Operations Sergeant Major Kyle Lamb. You can freeze frame that if you'd like. He has designed about 3 or 4 other knives, including fixed blades. I believe this is the first folding knife, and the others are made by Tops. So the larger fixed blades are made by Tops. There's some smaller fixed blades, and I don't have any of those handy for comparison. I do have the large one. I forget what that one is called, but there is there is a video of it up on the website, so check it out. Just do a search for Viking Tactics. If I can think of the name before we finish here, I will let you know, in case that's important to you. But right now, we're talking about this guy. A handy lightweight EDC with an able lock, therefore a bar lock or axis style lock, as Benchmade did it. It's a very lightweight knife. The scales are of G10. There is, if you look carefully, you can see a texture there. It has a deep carry clip that's ambidextrous. It has some pronounced finger grooves. Primarily the first one, very nice for indexing, and some great jimping, both on the steel frame, the inner frame, as well as a few on the blade. Very grippy, nice. Good thickness to the blade stock, 20 CV as I mentioned. So there you can see Viking Tactics Patriot. Here you can see Hogue USA. Yes, it is made in the US of A. CPM 20 CV. Very easy, open and close, extremely smooth. Not unlike all the other able locks that are out there. Locks up very tight. Thumb stud opening only. Very firm lockup that does not wiggle, does not budge. Wide open construction with a few barrel spacers and a T8 for pivot adjustment. It's running on washers. I'm not sure if you can see them or not. See if I can shine a light in there. Might be able to see them, but it's running on phosphor bronze washers. And again, it's very smooth. Now, should you want to open it by depressing the able lock, you can do that. A little piece of paper there was for my still. I had to get the angle right on the knife. They're not spitballs. Kind of reminds me of one from middle school, you know. Couple ways to hold this, and then we'll get into some measurements. It's not a huge handle, but it's enough for 4 of my fingers. Index goes there, middle finger goes there, and then you've got that, and then the pinky on that angled grip nicely nestles right there. But you've got a useful choil very similar to the K320 made for SIG. and we'll compare that one in a minute. You've got a definite stop there so you don't cut your finger using the choil. And there is the little nick cut out there for a sharpening choil. Okay? So I can easily get up there without cutting myself. I'm not nudging that blade at all because of that little dimple there, that little bump rather, not a dimple. So I can get right up on this for close work. It is a hollow ground blade. I'm not sure I can show you that, but how about that? Yeah, there you can see it. Got that razor blade, straight razor kind of hollow to it. So consequently a very fine edge for some pretty robust blade stock. So what do you say we get into measuring it and see what we come up with here? Overall 7.5 inches. I'm going to need to back out. Overall 7.5 inches with a blade of if you measure the edge, it is actually a tad under 3 inches. That surprises me. They advertise it as 3¼ inches. It's actually just a little shy of that. If we get the calipers out here and go to inches, we've got 0.52. Slender, but not so slim that you can't control the knife. And exactly 3 millimeters on the blade stock. Looks a little thicker than that, which is a 0.12. Now it's going to be light. Let's see what we got. Come on. Thank you. 3.3 ounces. Nice, light, little knife. I want to jump right into a comparison here because it is closest in the Hogue line so far to the Deka. And this is the Deka in 20 CV with the G10 handle. So both of these have a G10 handle and are very close to the same size. I'd say identical, with pretty much identical blade lengths and handle lengths, except you have a more contoured handle with the finger grips on the Patriot than you do on the Deka. You also have a slightly thicker handle, somewhat. I'm not sure if this really shows it, but it is slightly thicker. What we can measure. So we've got 0.42 and we had 0.52 on the Patriot. And the Deka is going to be even a lighter knife. For comparisons, I don't usually do this, but I will. You don't want to hold still, do you? Okay. Under 3 inches, under 3 ounces, 2.65. So, yeah, that's a little lighter. This is still a light knife, but we've got a thicker blade stock than we do on the Deka, for sure. So that makes the Deka lighter, certainly. Now, here's the K320 in the Tonto version. This is going to be a little bigger knife. It's still not a huge knife, but you can see it's certainly taller. It's got a bit longer blade, as you can see. And the handles are, strangely enough, very similar in length, because you've also got that choil. The choil here on the K320 is just a little bit deeper, a little bit wider. Both with the able lock, but if you're familiar with the K320, you're really not talking about that much smaller on the Vikings Tactic. Vikings Tactic Patriot. How about that? These are coming in around $200. Less 10% discount, get you $20 off if you use Old Sword for your discount code. Smooth action, as I said. How does it stack up in size against Griptilian? Well, let's find out. Griptilian's a little bigger knife. Yep. By a good 3/4 of an inch overall, with a blade about a 1/2 inch longer, roughly. Something like the Rat 1's going to be considerably longer. But there you go, for comparison. But I would say, and you know, I ordered this knowing that it wasn't a large knife, and I tend not to get too into small knives. Sometimes I get into the real small ones because they're sort of special purpose and a bit novel. But I like this, a nice stone washed finish on that 20 CV. A decent steel. It was fairly sharp out of the box. I put it on the strop and it is just screaming sharp now. You've got a lot of opportunity to just strop that down to a very fine edge because it is hollow ground. And it's only 3mm blade stock. Still, I think we got about 2mm on the Deka. So you got more stoutness to the blade stock here, but look at how that tapers down to a really fine working point. At the same time, because of the profile, it is not necessarily a fragile point, because you've got this arrowhead style V profile to the point from that side. That always strengthens it even when it's fine looking down along the spine. Again, they got that built-in jimping in the frame, same as what you have on the K320, except you got a little longer run of it on the K320. And we've got jimping only on the blade on the Deka. Now, if you've seen my reviews, I've also got the Deka in the new Magna Cut version with the Zytel handle. A lot of people are complaining about that version being kind of slick in the handle. This one's got some excellent milled in texture that gives you some pretty good grip. That, along with this deep finger groove right here, you've got excellent stop. And should you want to hold it cross palm, it really does lock in. If you want to choke up, it's still locked in through the middle finger. So it's one of those little big knives, or big little knives, or however you want to express that. Thumb studs just like the Deka. Opening on the K320 is with the blade hole, triangular hole. So I find this maybe to be a nice lightweight EDC knife with a little bit of a tactical flavor to it as well, should you need that. In other words, you can carry this in, it can be employed as a last ditch kind of a weapon. But I'm seeing it more as an EDC, as a field knife, maybe a small backup to something larger that you might carry, or a fixed blade. So there you have it. That is the Viking Tactics made by Hogue Patriot Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back with you soon.